Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you very, very much for
Good
joining.
morning.
Thank you for joining on a Monday morning. First of all, congratulations to both
Thank
of
you.
you. So you are like two of the winners. We're gonna get to go to Athens pretty soon. So before you get yourself all ready, we wanted to talk to you a little bit more and try to find out a bit more about your activities and all the great things that you have done with GoLab the past year. So we have Ton with us here as well. Ton is the project coordinator, so he's the man behind the whole thing. He's moving all the, all the right people and get things done in a way. So maybe before we start, do you want to very quickly just introduce yourselves and introduce yourself to each other as well? Nico, do you want to start?
Yes, of course. Hi, I'm Minikos Neradis, and I'm a physicist in special education. I working with GoLab since last year summer school, and I enjoy it very much.
Very good. Casper?
Yes, hi, I'm Casper, and I'm not a science teacher, but I'm introduced to the project of GoLabs by the U Twente. I'm following the course Educational Science and Technology, and there was a teacher that was explaining us about how the GoLabs project was working. And I'm also an economics teacher at my school in Tubbergen, and there I'm also responsible for the ICT development. And so I thought this is a really great opportunity for our science teachers and for our geography teachers to make more use of the laptops we are using at our school and make more use of ICT. And they were very enthusiastic about the GoLabs project because it's something that gives them something real to work with, and it's easy and it's manageable for a lot of my colleagues. So I want to introduce it for them. And I used it in one class, and it worked fine for me. Yes.
Okay, sounds very, very interesting. You guys are coming sort of from a different background, so that makes it more interesting as well. Okay, so let's start. Let's try to get some more information about the activities that you guys did. So first of all, what I wanted to find out is how have you actually chosen the topic for the ILS you have developed and all that? Was it based on your interest? Did it came from students in Nico's case, or students in your case as well, Casper, like interest? What led you to this decision? Nico, do you want to start?
Yes, of course. It's in the curriculum. We have, I made an ILS with two bodies falling. I take a video of them, and then we make some conversation about what is happening, why the one body will fall faster than another, and why, something like that. I took two classes, the second and the fourth grade of high school, of a technical special education high school, and we make an open inquiry-based project about it. Okay.
Okay.
So
Casper?
can I ask you, which lab did you use for? Because you said you made a video, but did you use one of the labs that you found on GoLabs?
In fact, I created a new EDT lab. I don't remember the professor I contact with, but he helped me to program and make bigger parameter or fully parameter, how to say it, to extend the values of the parameters in the EDT buoyancy lab, and so we can use it to suggest new experiments on show. I can send you the link.
Yes, please do.
Okay, Casper?
Yes, we used the GearSketch environment, and it had two main reasons. Because I had to use it in primary school, and we had to use it for the secondary school and the first two classes, and we were not completely sure about the level of the students we were working with. And because the fact that our group, we were 4 students and created this ILS, we came from all kind of different backgrounds, so the gears were the easiest one to understand, and we were not focusing on the scientific relevance of the lab, but more on the educational, how do you say it, the value for the educational process of the lab. And we found out that with the gear sketch we could manage to change the variables the most, and we could see what was happening with the learning process for the children and what worked best. So it was for us just a choice about what's the easiest one to work with and what do we understand. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what were actually the problems that you guys faced, both, let's say, technically, conceptually as well? What was like the hardest things that you had to deal with, Nico?
The main problem, let's say, it was to change the program of the school. I needed to cooperate with my colleagues and to have 2 continuous didactical hours. That was not a problem. Also, my headmistress, also my colleagues are very helpful. So, nothing major problem at all. The students are familiar with these techniques. In special education, we have the ability to reform, to bring our new stuff in the classroom. We have this freedom, let's say, and it was very joyful. And they were very happy about it.
Okay. So you didn't have any problems with the platform, any technical?
No. In the class we have an interactive whiteboard with a good internet connection, cable, so it was very nice.
Okay, okay. Cool.
But if you say you used the whiteboard, did you use it as a demonstration device, or did students do their own experimentation?
Prior to the activity, we let these 2 bodies fall, we video the whole thing, and then we take our data, let's say, or our observations in the whiteboard, some pictures, the video, and the other stuff, the educational material, let's say, posters and other things I used in the whiteboard as a group. Our classes are small, are 4 to 5 people because of their special educational needs. So I took 2 to cooperate also.
Okay, so the students, you did it in an interactive way, in a plenary fashion with your students. Is that the right summary?
Yes, and my objective was to lead them to ask questions, just to find collaborating their solution or their answers. I give nothing to help. I just wanted to have some, let's say, cognitive, I forgot the term, sorry.
Okay.
Cognitive conflict, let's say.
All right.
Yes, and through humor or through other activities to make their journey to knowledge, let's say like that.
And if you talk about special education, do your students have any cognitive impairments, or is it more in the social, emotional sphere?
Both. You can. We have a mild retardation, mostly, and social and cognitive deficits.
And the students you had in this class, the 5 or 6 that you had, did they have any? Because this sounds like a pretty difficult topic if you have a cognitive retardation, but they were capable to do so?
Difficult, but I'm working with them 2 or 3 years now, and they are not so difficult at this time. And it was, let's say, the 2 best classes in our school.
I see.
Otherwise, we have children with autism or something like that, and it is very hard to work with.
Okay.
Okay. So, Casper, what difficulties did you face?
Yes, we encountered some technical difficulties for the it's Graasp we were building in the ILS, and during the building of the ILS we found that there was, like with every program, there are technical difficulties, bugs you found, and all kind of things. like that, but we all gave them through to our teacher. And for the implementation in the lessons, I found it hard for the children to understand how to work with the laboratory. So for that, we made some videos, some instructional videos on how to work with the laboratory, and the students really found it useful. And they understood better how to place the gears in GearSketch and how to make the chains connecting the gears. That was something that was a little bit odd to do in the first version of the GearSketch laboratory. And at this moment I believe that there was an update, so it's easier to do that. But when we introduced it, it was hard, and that was something we found, difficult to do. And the hypothesis scratch pads, we use them as well, and I use them also in other courses, not connected directly to an online laboratory, but more to some curriculum-based economics parts for my own lessons, and that was very useful. I thought the hypothesis scratchpad can be used in every kind of domain in education, not only for the online laboratories.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good. So hearing a bit about all this, and I realized that you had to do some things on the side and provide support on very specific parts and all that. So in total, how much time did it took you? Let's say from the minute you had the idea till the moment that you actually finished the activity and you were ready to do it with kids in the class. So how long did it took you? So
is it a question for me or for?
Let's keep the order, because first.
Yes, that's great. Yes.
Okay. For the preparation, I was be able to finalize it in 3 or 4 days. I have the prior experience from last year summer school, so it was a little bit easy for me. Nevertheless, I worked in the old Graasp, and now I have to take everything in the new Graasp. Never mind. And in the school, it took us about a month, 3 or 4 double didactical hours.
Okay.
That was. Then I prepared. I take the evaluation with a colleague of mine, and we changed some small things, and we are now preparing another relative ILS. In this ILS, we want to take out their parameter, but in the new one, we'll take it in. We can make an activity, let's say, to maximize their resistance when two bodies falling, something like that. The future work.
Okay.
What did you think, Nico, about the new Graasp if you compare it to the old Graasp? You're one of those experienced. We thought it was a large jump forwards, but what did you think? You said it took you some time to learn it?
The new is definitely better. It's easy to work, and it's a very, very nice work. I'm very glad working with it.
Okay, I see there is a preference here. Okay, it's very, very.
Yes.
Okay.
Totally.
Casper?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about the time bit and then give us your opinion as well about the different versions?
Yes, we spend a lot of time on it, but it's also because of the fact that we made some instructional videos for the ILS, and we used the guidelines provided by Hans van der Meij, one of the professors at the UT, and I also want to include some parts of that in the instructional video. So creating the instructional videos took me a lot more time than just creating the videos. And so was it for the entire ILS. We thought about stuff and we changed it. So I think that we spent about 30, 40 hours. But it's not only working on the ILS, it's also about reading articles and finding out theories, etc. So yeah.
Okay, so there was a lot of preparation time, but okay, yeah.
Can I ask you, when you say you prepared videos for the ILS, were these the videos for the lab or were it videos for the ILS? And is your ILS online at the moment at GoLabs?
Yes, I thought it was online. One of my group members put it online because he had to work with it in his class. And we made the videos for working with the lab, for the GearSketch environment, how to draw gears and all that kind of things. They're also foundable on YouTube, I believe, because I put them in my own YouTube channel. And there are also videos about how to work with the ILS in a whole, like working with the hypothesis scratchpad. How do you use that? Where can you find which button?
And did you include those ones in the ILS?
Yes, we included them. Yes.
Okay, interesting. Because I'm trying to find your ILS, but do you know what the name of the ILS was?
Yes, the name of the ILS was Gears, and I believe that someone, maybe there's some other ILS or some other thing uploaded with the same name, because yesterday I couldn't find it myself as well.
Okay.
But I know that it's there, and we used it. But I will make sure that it's that it will be online by somewhere in 2 or 3 days. I don't know. Okay. But the video is also there somewhere, and in the video it's also explained how the instructional videos are working. And that's the one that I send in as my how do you say it, for the competition.
Okay. I tried. Maybe you can check again if it's online, because I try to find it now, but I don't find it, and I would be interesting to look at it.
Yes, I will do it. I have one meeting this afternoon, and after that I will.
Great.
Yes, tonight I will look for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about your students. So what about them? So what was it fun for them? What was the parts that they enjoyed most, and what were the parts that they found difficult? You sort of told me a few things already, but let's put it all together. Nico?
Yes. No, they enjoyed it very much. I said that one of my objectives was to lead them to ask questions, but then I give them nothing. They have to collaborate, they have to search, they have to do some homework. And the better part, let's say that, it was when, let's say, they make the predict that two bodies, perhaps they are fall together, two same balls, and then we look at the video or the screenshot, and they say it was like that. So, what is happening? When they ask me, my answer was, don't ask me, you did the experiment, please find it. It was all this, like I say, all these interactions about them and with them. It was really joyful, yes.
Very good. And when it comes to, let's say, difficulties, what were like the main problems that they had? Was something that it blocked them particularly?
No, they are familiar with this. I'm working with them with 2 years, and we have solved what are difficult for them. I know my students, and I took out the parts that are difficult for them.
Yeah.
We are not used too many maths. We are targeting the core concepts, the basic physics, just to understand what is the basic rules, what are the basic and the core ideas of physics. Okay. So taking out the math is better for them.
Okay. Just to understand a bit on the practical side, so how do you do it with computers? So you have like computer rooms, and then they have to share, or they have each something? How do you do it?
Oh, we did it on the whiteboard. Everything.
It's only on the whiteboard. Okay, as you were saying. Okay.
The whiteboard, and they are interacting with it.
With each other. Okay. Okay. Casper?
Yes, we have a luxury position here, I believe, because at our school, all the students have their own laptops, so we can say just open your laptop and start the ILS. And I also tested it at the primary school with one of my group members, and there we used a computer room. And there were 5 or 6 students sitting there behind their computer screens. And I prefer our own school, because then you have an entire class with their own devices, and that works the best, I think.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about the primary. I'm curious. So what ages the kids were?
Yes, the age of the kids is 11 and 12 years old. and it's almost there's a big difference between the primary school and the first class I used. It's only 1 year, but the entire interaction with the ILS and how they work with it, and yes, it's really a big difference because it's a different type of school and you can really see it. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
Yes,
So when
if I add, the difference between primary and secondary, it's important, and that's why we want to make this other ILS taking very much in count the air resistance. When we presented this work in the Science of States Fair of Greece, the secondary students are very fond of taking out their pressure and do the ILS as we had it, but but every child of the primary school came was thinking about their pressure very much. So we have to moderate that. It's very true what Casper said.
Yeah.
Yes, I also found it that the difference between children at primary school is much bigger than when you were at secondary school, because in secondary school, for our school system, the students are really grouped by their level, and in primary school you've got different levels in one class. So you have to, for instance, one student is not understanding one bit of the ILS, while the other one is working with it like he doesn't need any kind of help at all. So that's different.
Wow.
That's something you have to keep in mind.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so when it comes to the sort of science part of the activities, I think you were waiting for this question. So did you felt like that the kids, they got more interested on the science topic that you sort of addressed because of the activity? Was it part of your aim anyway? Nico?
Yes, through the joy of knowledge, let's say, all these activities, my students wants to do science, wants to learn about scientists of the past. For example, for this ILS, in one part I took in count Galileo, how he rejected Aristotle's opinion that the lighter body stays up and the heavier go down. So with the whole trip with the history of science, make it more interesting. And they want to know anecdotes about science, and that helped me to do core science, let's say, core the basic idea of science to pass them. So it was better for me.
Yeah. Okay, great. Casper?
Yes, I thought that working with the ILS, it made it more visual. It made it more. How do you say it in English? I don't know the English word for it. But
What's student touch, Casper?
Yeah, tastbaar.
Tangible.
Yeah, something like that. Yes. It was manageable, and they could. It was like they're working with something really, and especially for the kids at the primary school, they found it really fun. Yeah, fun is, I think, the right word for it. Instead of working on paper, they thought that they were really doing something, and they enjoyed the fact that what they did was working, and there was actually something happening at the screen, and they were not just filling out papers, and that was something that was really nice for them. And I think that working with these ILSs and with these online laboratories can help classes and can help you with creating more interactive and more interesting classes for your students. Yes.
So if you would compare, I mean, you cannot do that, but you can imagine if you would compare it to, let's say, a real laboratory, if you would have that for gears, then of course it would also be really tangible. Would you still see advantages for online labs?
Yes, the biggest advantage, what my colleagues are now saying, it's not costing that much time. You don't have to use other people. I don't know how they're called in English, but we call them TOAs, and they're helping our assistants for the science classes. For every experiment, you need 2 extra colleagues and 1 teacher. And for the digital or the online laboratories, you don't need them, so you can use it every moment you want. that's one big advantage. And the fact that when children are working with it, nothing can really go wrong. That's something that's not always an advantage, but for the outcome it is an advantage, but because the outcome is always the same. So they really, when they make some kind of machinery with the gears, it's always doing what it should do. So the outcome is something they learn, and it's the right outcome. So they can really test it. And when you're using a real laboratory, the outcome can differ on many, on the outcome, something like that.
May I add something?
Yeah, great.
I like to combine them. I like hands-on and I like hands-out, let's say. And I want my experiments to go wrong. Because that's when students are questioning and make more questions, and they can see behind the curtain, let's say, of reality. I want things to go wrong. Just post it.
Okay.
Yes. As I also thought it was something we also learned, that it was better to use online laboratories and real laboratories. My colleagues are also saying, yes, we don't want to lose the real laboratories, but it's an advantage if you use them both. It's something you can use at every time, at every moment. And for our school, it's really an advantage because we use the laptops in our school, and every student is having its own device. So when we're, for instance, sitting in a room and there is a science teacher walking there, and there should be some kind of mathematics class, and there's now a science teacher because the mathematics teacher is ill, then you can say, yes, we go work with an online laboratory, and it's there, and you can use it on the spot, and that's really great. Yeah. Yes.
Very good.
Okay, no, I mean that sounds good, which brings me very nicely to my next question, which again you sort of answered. So you guys seem to be quite comfortable with using Graasp now and creating your own things. So what's your plans for next year? Are you going to continue? You're going to create more things? Nico said already that he has.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So tell us more.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I have plans. I want all my works is to put it on Graasp, and my next objective, let's say, is to collaborate with some colleagues of mine. I think Graasp and ILSs are not only for science. A gymnastic teacher can use it, a linguistic teacher can use it, and we can make great stuff together, I think.
It's very nice that you are saying that, because it's always at the back of our head that it can have like a more sort of wide application, the whole thing.
It's straightforward.
Yeah, cool. Casper?
Yes, I also want to work with it next year, because our science department and my biology teachers, they already said, yes, we're interested, but we don't know how to work with it. And that's where you come in place. You will teach us how to work with it, and we will use it in the classes. So that's fine by me. And also what Nicholas is saying about the fact that you can use it in other classes, I already experienced with the hypothesis scratchpad that it can be used in my economics classes, for instance, for formulating hypotheses and just giving them some kind of how do you say it? Some kind of guideline in formulating the right hypotheses, and that's something that's hard for my students. When I want to let them write an answer to a question, most of the time they write something like more profit or there is not enough money, but that's not a right answer to the question. I want them to write a real answer, and then the hypothesis scratchpad can be used because they get all the blocks with terms, and when they place them behind each other, then they get a real hypothesis or a real prediction about what's happening, and that's something that, yes, it works for my class, I think, and I used it for 2 tests, and for my students, I could really see that the grades were going up, and it was not about half of a point, it was about 2 points on the scale from 0 to 10. So I think there's something to do with it for next year.
Okay. So since both of you are planning to continue with it, okay, and Casper has some, let's say, more special needs. He has to teach others how to use the tool. So do you feel that there is some some kind of more support that you guys need? And also, have you checked what is available? Have you checked like the tutoring platform and all the FAQs and all that? It's just helpful for us to see how we can support you more as you are expanding the use of the tool. Nico, any ideas?
Yeah, I didn't use the tutoring platform yet. At this stage, let's say, of my Graasp use is to produce the more ILSs, and then I can see what I'm doing wrong, perhaps. And the thing is to collaborate. If I can make an ILS with 2 or 3 other colleagues, perhaps we raise some things. From last year, with the old, let's say, Graasp and beginning with the new Graasp, I was lucky because I have Adrian Scholzer, how can you say, the guy from Switzerland implementing this. So everything I was emailing to him, and
he was doing it.
The technical stuff, things were, I was guided.
Okay.
I must produce more ILSs, and then I can say.
Okay.
Use, of course, the tutoring platform. I haven't used it yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, what you were doing with Adrian is sort of tutoring. I mean, if you have like a contact with someone who is supporting you, that's what the tutoring platform is in a way. So
immediate tutoring, yes.
But
he was very supportive and very helpful, yes.
Okay, great. Casper?
Yes, I don't know if it's interesting for now, but I would like to use the ILS also with something we use as an ILS. We use It's Learning. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
I haven't used it, but yeah, I know it's existing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it's our electronic learning environment for our school, and I want to look for a way how to integrate the Graasp ILS into It's Learning, because we don't want the students to have at this moment we've got materials from the publishers. That's on some platform. We've got our own electronic learning environment, and then we should have Graasp as well, and there are also some other parts where they can find information, and I want to integrate them all to one kind of learning environment, and it's something I want to do next year as well.
Okay, so that means that you want them to be there locally, or so I guess embedding them over there is not going to be enough, right? So you need something more.
Yeah, yes. The problem is when you use, at this moment, last year we used about 4 platforms, and the biggest platform was It's Learning. And when we introduce another platform to it, then the students have about 5 platforms they can use, and some students can handle that, but there are a lot of students, they're just getting lost, and it takes a lot of time when you want them to go to the right platform to use the things you want to use. And in a lesson of 50 minutes, 5 minutes is a lot of time.
Yes.
And when you're working with the online laboratories, you can use every minute. And that's something I want to improve for next year.
Okay. All right. No, very, very interesting. I don't know, Tony, if you have any more questions. I think.
Yeah, maybe I have. I mean, Evita was talking about the support platform, which is relatively new. So I even would assume you wouldn't have seen it. But now if you go to GoLabs, to the upper right part, there's a support button. And if you go there, you'll see there's a few things to help you. What will soon be changed is that the 2 video entries will be 1 video entry where you'll find all kinds of video. Also ones we produced on using the scaffolds or the apps. Mm-hmm. So maybe similar to what Casper had created. But there's also a section called Tips and Tricks and a section called Frequently Asked Questions. We'd like to see that also in Athens if you in the summer school if you liked it, but you could have a look at it and see if this is helpful for you in making your ILSs. It's relatively new and things that we thought were interesting for you to know as a tip or a trick or a frequently asked question to. And if you do have anything yourself, what you find out when you make an ILS and you think this is a smart thing to do, don't hesitate to send it to me, and then we see if we can transform it to a tip and trick, for example. So that is maybe one more. It's not really a question, but more and more a remark. The other one has to do with the number of labs that we do have available in GoLabs. When we started this project and we wrote a proposal, we said that at the end we would like to have 45 labs. We thought that was a nice set of labs to have. Now we are already on 122. and it will grow more because we have a number of contacts that will add more labs. And recently we added a number of labs from the Concord Consortium, which I think are pretty simple and pretty nice, also in biology, physics, chemistry, and a very interesting lab from Stanford with live creatures that you can influence. But how would you feel? I mean, can it at some point be too many labs that you can choose from, or would you say that the more the better?
Yes, I think the more the better, but the quality must be high. It's okay. We also discussed it last time that Tan and I was speaking. I was involved in a lot of other projects with teachers creating their own learning spaces, and I've always found it very annoying that when you look for some kind of lesson plan or something like it, that it's not finished or that it's not doing what you're supposed to do. So my advice would be to keep the quality as high as possible, and it's better to have 50 labs that are of real good quality than having 400 labs and they're not all in the quality you want to have, and then I'm looking for something and I think, oh, this is something nice, and I use it and I think, no, it's not as nice as I thought, it's really crap, and that's something you should avoid, I think.
Well, I think for the labs, the quality is pretty assured because they come from larger institutions and people who really worked on it, and we look at the labs for the ILSs. I would agree that everybody can publish their own ILSs, and well, we don't have a real, we are thinking about a kind of rating system that people can rate ILSs from others. At the moment we don't have that as yet, so the quality can really be variable for the ILSs.
Yes. And for the ILSs, if I may add, you can make some to judge them. In FET website, they give a star in a good worksheet, so you can rate them from some judges.
Yeah,
and the user sees that this is from the judge, not from me or from another colleague we made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that was it from my side.
Okay. Well, I think that's it in total. So thank you very, very much, guys. It has been great talking to you. Good luck.
Yes.
For your further developments, and yeah, basically have fun in Athens. I think you're gonna work and learn many cool things over there.
Yes, all right, great. Can I ask some small questions about the situation in Greece at the moment? Yes, I don't know if it's appropriate at this time, but we were getting some messages that we should take some money.
Yes, you should have sufficient cash according to what's happening this week. You should make sure. But I think in your case, since everything is in your package and you're gonna be in a specific place, having a decent amount of cash should be sufficient. So I would recommend you not to panic. There's nothing.
No, I'm not. I don't panic.
Yeah. So yeah, just make sure you have enough cash. But the truth is that by the time you guys are gonna be there, maybe things will be different.
Yes.
Maybe in a positive way, different. I hope.
Yes, I was thinking about taking dollars or taking euros. I don't know what's better.
No,
but...
I mean euros are okay. I would the dollars. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know this. So no.
Take the euros for now, yeah. Make sure, but follow it because I know that the Netherlands and Belgium as well. They're updating the, let's say, their consultation to travelers. I was checking as well today, so I think having cash and it's the best.
All the time will be at the hotel. Don't worry.
No, I'm not scared. No.
And then you go out all together, so I think everything is in the package in a way, so you're not gonna get to spend that much.
All right, that's great. Yes, thank you.
Well, in any case, I hope, Nikos, also for you there that things will clear up soon, because I don't think it's a very nice situation to be in at the moment, isn't it?
Thank you.
As usual, it's the normal people who are the victims of all these larger scale, for us ununderstandable kind of political movements that are going back and forward. But it's not good.
No.
We'll see.
Let's see.
Right.
Thank you very much, guys.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.